Hey everyone, Vicky Magic here today with Wake Up, You've Got This podcast. So today I'm here with the beautiful Carly Wacker. Welcome, Carly.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So Carly, to begin with, tell us a little bit about you and what you do for your clients.
So I have a background in media, communications and entertainment. So what I do for my clients is I create an opportunity to be seen. I coach and mentor through startup businesses, mainly in the fashion and lifestyle areas, and teach them how to get the attention of the media to take their brand or their label to the next level.
Oh, awesome. And so over the last couple of months, have you, sort of had to pivot the business at all? Obviously there's not as much or hasn't been as much face to face. How has that affected you and what have you done?
So one of the big things I had done for a lot of the Sunshine Coast startup fashion labels, and some existing, was I created a major fashion show, and that was just bringing together all of my skills and knowledge with a business partner, Jacinta. And the show was meant to be on March 21st. Now, of course, the week before, that's when we started to see the restrictions come into place. And we had to make that big decision on the Monday before the show to pull the pin. And of course, I'd spent a year working on this project with these clients and supporting them in that way. And then all of a sudden there was nothing to do.
Yeah.
So I put a hold on a casual radio gig that I was doing and put a hold on a lot of other things in my life, just so that I could focus on this one big event for the clients that I've been working with. And so it was like the world came crashing down on me, to be very honest. I went from being very busy and striving on being busy, and then I had nothing to do. So I was at home with my husband, who has retired, and all of a sudden we had all day, every day together. And I'm such a creative person, and I was losing contact with people that I was having that contact with every day. And I really felt like for my mental health, I had to find a little something to do. So I started having a little play with art and craft. And I discovered a love of polymer clay crafting. And I started making earrings. And I posted them on social media, showing people what I was doing in ISO. And friends started wanting the earrings. And now I've created this little business.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, gorgeous.
I've pivoted from mentoring and coaching startup fashion businesses to starting my own little label.
That's fantastic. And I think that that's really, exciting and interesting to people too, because, some people, kind of wait for the storm to pass, and some people dance in the rain. So congratulations for dancing. That's amazing.
Thank you. And I think during the time too, personally, it was just so great to spend quality time with my husband uninterrupted. There was no having to be somewhere. It was really just having to reconnect with each other. So he was supporting me in this whole journey, which was so much fun to do together.
Yeah, well done. And so before I move on to the next question, I do just want to quickly ask you, this fashion parade, is it still happening? When's it happening? What's happening?
Yeah, well, we put so much time and effort into creating this, and it was to be the first sustainable fashion show on the Sunshine Coast. We don't know when these restrictions are going to be lifted for large gatherings. We'd sold over 250 tickets. It's an intimate setting, a fashion parade, because you've got hair and makeup artists, you've got dressers, you've got people in close proximity behind the scenes as well as in the audience. So it's very, it's stressful for all of us not to know when we can reschedule, but yeah, the show will go on. We can't let down this whole team of emerging models and designers and hair and makeup artists and performers. I mean, I feel a real responsibility to make sure that Runway Fashion Australia happens, and it will happen in 2021. But until we know what the government says about large gatherings, we really can't lock in a date. But watch this space.
Yeah, awesome. So moving on then to the, focus of the podcast, which is what matters. What matters most to you? And, if you can share with us as well some tips that you've sort of learnt over the years that would be, sort of interesting for us to listen to.
Well, I think what's really important and what matters to me most at this point in my life, I've broken it down into 4 categories, because my health is a very, very important factor. What matters is my happiness, my life balance, which I've learned only over this last couple of months, and family. So in my 40s, I found that my health, I probably could have taken better care of myself earlier on, because your body changes in your 40s, and I noticed joint aches and pains, and it's harder to lose the weight, and there's all these factors that have made me really appreciate that health matters more than anything else.
Yeah.
So I've built into, before the COVID-19 lockdown and this whole global health crisis, I was so busy that I found every excuse not to take time out of the day to look after my health. And when I say that, mental health, physical health, it all, it's the one thing to me. So I'd find every excuse not to. But then when I was really not struggling with time, I found that I had no excuses left, and I had to exercise. So the life changer for that is that I now every single day say to myself, my job, or part of my job today, is to go for a walk. It's to go to the gym. It's to do something for my physical and mental health. That is just something I have to tick off my daily list. And it's really hard at times to get motivated to do something, but when you know that you have to do it every day, it's just a part of your being. It's a job, it's a task, you got to tick it off. I think that's changed my mindset. I just know that it's part of my job and my responsibility to myself.
Yeah, and that's inspirational. So well done.
Thank you. Happiness is also a really big thing for me. I don't believe, and I don't know what you think about this, but I don't think anyone can say they're truly happy 100%. I think there's so many elements in our lives, work, extended family, all sorts of things that mean that we can't at any one given time have complete happiness. But I always live by this one little philosophy, and that is that a smile is your greatest accessory. It's your greatest fashion accessory, and it's an accessory to happiness, because if you can leave the house and have a smile on your face, even if you're not feeling it 100%, that smile will improve your mood comes across it. So my hot tip for happiness is to wear a smile, even if you're really not feeling it.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yep. What's the third area?
Life balance. So that's one that really shone for me during ISO. I realized that I was taking up every hour of my day, every minute of my day, doing things, being busy. And I realized that I wasn't giving myself that time for health and happiness, that me time. And I've thought a lot about it, and I think I felt quite, and I've felt this for quite some time, guilty that I haven't had kids, and I haven't had that responsibility, and I'm not a mum that has to school kids during the shutdown, and I felt guilty always about having the time that other people didn't have. But I then realized that I was not giving myself life balance by overworking to compensate for that guilt that I was feeling for maybe not being a parent or not having the same big responsibilities that other people have. So now I've decided that I can have life balance without guilt. I can have time to myself. And I think it's really important. And I think it just goes back to that whole health and happiness thing. If you can't give yourself balance between work and life, you're never going to be happy or healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So anything else you'd like to share?
Well, family is a big one to me.
I
love my family. I have quite a complicated family. I became a stepmom of 3 teenagers who are now all adults, and they have their own relationships. I've got a beautiful mum and dad and sister and brother and nephew and niece and their family. And I think as you get older, you start to realize that that is absolutely the most important thing. I think, at the end of the day, you're going to retire and you're going to be surrounded by mainly family and a few friends. And that's the most important sort of bubble that you will be in at that time. And if you have a really solid family that's healthy, that's happy, that to me, it means the world. I think it's really important, especially with the blended families, that is my experience and that we see a lot of these days, to actually just think that it's not all about you. So get rid of the jealousy and get rid of any comparisons and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And realize that this whole thing is not about you. It's if you fill your heart and your family with love and positivity, and you come together at important times, then that is the most important thing in life.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, I think, and that's what I love about, a podcast like this as well, is it's actually about encouraging people to wake up to what matters. So I think that there's some really good tips there. So before we finish up, because obviously we don't want this to be too long so that people want to listen to it all, is there any other little bits of gold that you would like to share, or anything else that you would like to share before we stop?
Yeah, I think just be brave in everything you do in life. That is my power word. That means so much to me. I think if you don't give something a go, and if you don't look at the bright side and take a leap, then you're never going to know. And that would be a very sad existence. So be brave and follow your dreams, and just always follow your dreams with a smile on your face.
Awesome. So thank you so much for your time today, Carly. It's been really great. I've loved listening to every word, and I'd like to speak to you for another hour, but
well, thanks for having me, Vicky.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, everybody. Over and out.